This is Madeline Dill with the Chapter Goddess, and this morning I have with me JT Moriarty, right?
Moriarty, close.
Moriarty. And we are going to be talking about his book. So, Jay, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm JT Moriarty. I'm a writer from the Blue Mountains of Australia. If you don't know where that is, I'm not too surprised. I've got 4 cats. I've always been interested in writing, and this is one of the books I've written.
Nice. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your book. Give us the synopsis.
It's science fiction. A robot wakes up one day, this guy, and his family's missing. He doesn't know why, and he goes out to find them.
Nice.
So it's very much a personal discovery sort of story, as well as a kind of quest story. But he doesn't get in trouble for whatever he does, which makes all the other robots very jealous. It makes all the humans very jealous that, how come this guy's not getting in trouble for all the things he's doing? Because he's got no idea, absolutely none. But seems to be making progress, or does it? It's very much a self-discovery sort of thing.
Nice. Is this part of a series that you're planning?
Yes. This is part 1. Part 2, I've got the cover of here. I'm writing this currently. That's A Machine of Blood, The Full Life of a Robot 2.
I like that cover.
Yeah, it's kind of gory. There you go. Hang on. How's that? 1, 2.
They're both really good. Nice. So it's going to be a trilogy?
Yes. I've got the 3rd one, but I can't show you that because I'm not writing it yet. And then if I have time, a prequel and an extra one, but we'll see how they sell.
So you're going to stay pretty busy with this then?
Yeah, I plan to release 1 a year for the next 5 years, which will keep me going. Yeah.
That's good. So your writing process, do you like to plan it out and do that way, or do you just kind of fly by the seat of your pants?
I can't not plan at least a little, but whatever I plan sometimes gets pushed aside by the characters.
Yes.
So I'll write in 25 half-hour chunks, and I might say, cool, this scene can go whoever it likes. I know I've got these characters, this place, but as long as this tiny event occurs within it, everything else is gravy. So when I was writing this one was very formula because it's following this guy. In the second one, it follows Wix, who is a different character who pops up in this one. And she's much more confident, much more forthright, and she knows what's going on, whereas this guy doesn't. So for him, it was very formulaic. It reads exactly like a diary. And, this one is much more, hi, I read his diary. It was terrible. Here's mine. In this case, I'm positive there's going to be chapters and things that happen that I didn't plan, but she will absolutely tell me to write about.
So would you say she's a strong female character then?
Yes.
That's great. So when you plan your characters out, do you base them kind of off of people you know, or do you come up with them completely like on your own?
Depends on, for small scenes, I might use based on someone I know personally. For the larger story, it'll be an idea I want to get across. So the full life of a robot's written a diary and somehow I found it and I published it in the real life. The idea is believe it's true and it's really good. That idea just came to me one day at work because I work at a news agency and there's plenty of time to just sit and daydream. And I thought, what if you took a robot and put them in a very human situation and just put them in a whole bunch of them in a row and the robot wrote about it?
That's crazy. I love it though.
Well, yeah, I actually wrote it. So I was amazed that I did, but there was enough there. I got one story out of it. And then writing this one, the next 2 story ideas popped up. So there are scenes where there are people who are directly ripped off of customers I've had. Like there's one where the robot actually has a job at a news agency and there's people complaining because they're not winning lotto. That might be based on me. I don't know,
That sounds like a good character. So when did you decide you wanted to start writing?
When I was 7, I wrote a story about a bunch of pirates, but that was just me and my cousin and my friends at school going on a pirate adventure. That was the first story I wrote.
That is amazing.
Thank you. I don't have a copy. Sorry. But when that just naturally came to me, like, you're 7 years old. What do you want to do? I don't know, eat too much sugar and play video games. Stories just came naturally. So I thought, I know I can tell the stories. I imagine if I write them down, then others can enjoy them as well. And so through high school, I still had ideas and writing them, but I was just writing for fun. It wasn't until I wrote this one that I thought, try my hand at selling it for actual money, and I've made some money, surprisingly. But yeah, as soon as I don't know, I was wishy-washy about it. Like, do people really want a story about a robot and its diary? And I was watching Daft Punk because they've got that show. It's more of an art house, but it's called Electroma, and it's like an hour and a half. It's not a movie. It's very interesting. Some people would be bored as hell by it, but just seeing it out there, I thought people love robots and robotica, and there is absolutely an audience for this, and I'm getting in on that. So thank you, Daft Punk.
It is a good field. So when you created the world in this book, how did you have a process to it, or like did you have to do any research or anything?
I want to just cheat on that question and say the 30 previous years of reading science fiction really informed the world. But if I'm a bit more accurate, definitely the world of Blade Runner, that sort of wet city, dark at night feeling. But with this book, it all started with the robot, and I kind of really let him lead the way. So where he went on his days off, what he decided to do. Each chapter, I knew the different things I wanted to have happen to him, but not the order and not how and not why. So unfortunately, this one being the basis for all three of them, they're all told through his perspective, and he knows nothing. So even though he goes into the city, he gives a real quick, stunted description of just the areas he needs to go to. So it's a risk, definitely, for a first story to not really explain the world, but you really get to know the character. So this is definitely a character book. Whereas in part 2, Wix actually goes back, I think, and there's a lot of questions from this book, and this is a lot of answers, hopefully. Otherwise, I'm just going to make people more and more confused.
And that's what book 3 is for, right? If they're really confused.
Book 3 should really answer it all properly, but then it's all too neat, and I hate stories that tie up with a nice, neat little bow. Like, still finish the story, that's good, but leave some questions.
Yes, that is always good, because then you get to use your own imagination at the end of it to be like, what if?
That's why I like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? You don't know in the book if Deckard is actually a robot or a human.
Yeah.
And that's the main point. Does it matter? Does it count? Which one is he?
Yeah. That is good. How has the pandemic affected your writing?
Being in Australia, we haven't had it as bad as a lot of the rest of the world. While I worked at the news agency, we didn't close for a single day. There was a hairy period about the start for 2 or 3 weeks when the government was announcing that essential businesses were closing, and we didn't know every hour if we were just going to be rung up and told, yeah, news agencies don't count, cut it, we go home. We never got that call. We didn't close for a single day. The amount of customers definitely cut down, so we had fewer. It's kind of like a new normal. We had a new regular, which was half as many people as before. But in terms of writing, that meant a lot more time to sit there and daydream and think. So I actually went through a year of creating maybe 10 characters and 10 stories and really, really expanding on where I could write next. So half of it was supposed to be more completing this series. This is my main focus.
Yeah.
And then the second half, kind of figuring out what to do at the same time. So I could do half fantasy, half science fiction. And probably through exploring that, through all the extra time that COVID and getting stuck in lockdown has done, just helped me figure out what I want to do and kind of nail it on the head. As soon as I started writing number 2 of this one, it felt so good. It was so rewarding to go back to this world, to actually not be constrained by the first robot's voice and rather have this one's voice, and to be brash and brazen as opposed to apologetic and uncertain and like stopped at every point. It's the complete opposite. But writing the story again, I've had no issues. Everything has come naturally. Getting back into the voice of the world as well as the characters was just effortless. So compared to writing a book 1, book 2 was already half done for me. I just sort of got back in the same old comfortable seat and went, all right, show me what we're doing.
Okay, so tell our viewers where they can find your work at.
Cool. If you go to Amazon.com or .com.au, you can go to the Kindle books, I think, and type in The Full Life of a Robot. Use quotes because Amazon loves to not do that. So type in that. Type in exactly that, quote here, and hopefully it'll pop up. It looks like this. If the picture doesn't look like that, don't buy that one. Buy this one.
Yes.
And if you want the paper copy, and you're in Australia, you have to buy the American website because that's just how Amazon works. And if you're in America, Amazon, just laugh at everyone in Australia.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure to have you.
No worries.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
All right.